Hello, everyone. Well, today we're taking a look at where the Watchtower's money is going, where your donations are going. So, first of all, we're going to flip over to Charity Canada. And Charity Canada, they have, and you might have that in your own country, you can check, but here in Canada, we have a Charity Intelligence Canada, and it tells us where donated money goes for charities. So the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, their financial transparency is an X, and you'll notice the result reporting's an F. Demonstrated impact is low. They have no need for funding, but yet they have their hands out as a charity, and they say 99% goes to the cause. That's because of all the free labor. So that kind of strikes a little bit of a question mark in their view. But here it is not financially transparent. It does not have audited financial statements and does not report fundraising costs. The charity has an F results reporting grade, as it does not have its own website or annual report. Watchtower is rated as low on demonstrated impact per dollar spent. So why, I guess my question to Canada is, why are we allowing Watchtower to still be a charity? Well, a lot of other people ask that question. If we look over, we don't have to go too far, avoid JW. They're looking at it too. What are the donations funding? 21.1 million invested. That was a recent broadcast here on jw.org. You know, it's always asking for more donations. And by the way, this article was pumped out by Miss Usato just the other day. And she's an excellent journalist that does a lot of work for the community, for the ex-JW community. So if you want to talk to a journalist, she is a good one. Now, what are the donations funding? She says a recent governing body update gave the pretty loud answer. We're going to play it. And we're also going to play this leaked video that shows a little bit about Watchtower and where they're going with their money. And no transparency. All over there's no transparency. So we all wonder, where is the money going? Where is the accountability? So this is an open assembly in Africa. And that's the end of the article. And then there's another video that we're going to take a look at. So the first video here, where's the money going? Well, listen to the opening prayer at the annual meeting, where the brother thanks Jehovah for the nonprofit corporation. That is the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of Pennsylvania. Is that what Jesus wants? So let's take a look at that.
We thank you also for the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of Pennsylvania. That's the reason why we have been here, for one of the reasons.
Really?
We thank you also for the Watchtower Bible
Watchtower?
and Tract Society of Pennsylvania. That's the reason why we have been here, for one of the reasons, celebrating the annual meeting. And we appreciate how over 100 years, well over 100 years, this society has been a great support to the governing body in caring for their responsibilities.
Wow, what a farce. So they're really worshiping the governing body right in their prayer. Right in their prayer. Now maybe we just seen a part of these prayers. Some of these prayers are like an hour. Maybe they did thank God for the poor, or for helping the poor, or any of that stuff. I don't know. But this sounds pretty corporate to me. Now, let's take a look at the next one that Miss Usato linked us to. Here it is, want to know where the future is for the Watchtower. It's in a purchasing meeting from 2017. This brother says exactly where the huge shift now was. He says a governing body said in a letter that they want to spend money and resources where growth is occurring, Africa. So this is back in 2017, and then we're going to play the clip here from the last broadcast. So this is what built up to it. Here it is. This is 1 minute and 47 seconds.
This one's really interesting, and if you could keep this somewhat confidential, this next section. But it says the Regional Design Construction Department expressed appreciation for purchasing support of their project. A preliminary workload forecast for the next 5 years indicates Zambia, Congo, Nigeria, Angola, and Malawi will need more than 5,000 new kingdom halls or major renovations. Yep. This is due to tremendous growth seen in those fields. We got a report 2 days ago that we now have 5 countries that are double-digit growth in Africa. So last week, we didn't know that. We told you Angola was awesome. Well, now we have 5. This is due to tremendous growth seen in these fields. Effort to support this is an expansion with the governing body's annual letter that came out last week to give attention to all those rightly disposed for everlasting life, Acts 13:48. In that letter, the governing body said, we want to spend money and resources where growth is occurring. So it's a huge shift now to put it into those areas. Coping with this expansion will depend on South Africa handling an increase in non-literature branch requests, either bought from the South African market or processed through their new distribution center. Supporting the development of design construction contracts throughout all of Africa, and training members for other African purchasing departments. Those 5 branches, only 2 have functioning purchasing departments that can bear with the cope. So we have 3 that we have to set up. Our office will work with Worldwide Design Construction Department as well as the Publishing Committee to quantify all workload on this exciting development so your branch can plan your staffing accordingly. So that's just a little where the future is.
Okay, so now you've seen, that was in 2017, that clip. The governing body planning for the future. They know the future's in Africa. You know, there's no internet there, so they don't, people can't really do the research. We're going to talk about that a little bit more. But let's listen into the most recent clip here where the governing body made this announcement that they're going to be sinking your donated money into audiovisual in Africa. So here we go.
Here's another update. Recently, the brothers at World Headquarters reviewed the audio and video equipment needs for regional conventions in 20 African branches. Outstandingly, the attendance in these 20 branch territories was nearly 2.5 times the number of publishers. This represents close to 5 million attendees. But not all of the convention locations have sufficient audio and video equipment to enjoy the convention program like our brothers in other lands. We're pleased to inform you that the governing body has approved to spend $21.1 million over a 3-year period to purchase additional audio and video equipment for conventions in Africa. A phased approach will be used to purchase and deploy the equipment for assembly halls, rented facilities, expandable kingdom halls, and even open fields. For 2026, the focus will be primarily on equipping conventions with sufficient audio equipment and generators. Some convention sites will be prepared to install new video setups to enhance existing setups. We thank you for your generosity in making it possible for us to provide this equipment that will greatly benefit our brothers and sisters as well as many interested ones.
Well, there you have it. The governing body, they're going to spend $21.1 million in audiovisual technology. Not for disaster relief, not for feeding the poor, not for community education, but for video equipment. That's $21 million going into production studios, cameras, and sound systems all over Africa. So you guys have seen it for yourself. Now let's look at what some other religions are doing in Africa. I took a little bit of a peek on the internet, and you don't have to go too far when looking as to what other religions are doing. A lot of them are setting up solar systems. They're helping them to create power. They're teaching them, and mostly for education is what I found. They're in schools and so forth. So they're setting up, they're showing them how to generate power. There's lots of sun in Africa. So that should be an easy thing to do. You know, they're not fighting a lot of the things we fight with shading and stuff up here. So that's happening. A lot of church programs. I know of one in my own hometown. They were doing that and sending solar. I had a chance to send some stuff with them and help some community I didn't even know who they were. So anybody can get involved. Now, here's what other churches are doing. They're helping people in Africa to learn, not just feed. This is not relief work, folks. Now, we know JW does a bit of relief work, and they brag about it. But you see, this is ongoing support, where they're agricultural development programs, initiatives, churches here, African churches, they're getting involved and helping different groups of people all over Africa. So you don't have to look far. Here's another one, the churches help in Africa with education. You see, JW they have their own kingdom hall, and they just educate in their own brainwashing doctrine. But you see, this is real education, folks. This is education on what's happening in the world. It's a school. These are schools like grade school, up to high school perhaps, I'm not sure. But these children are getting a real empowering education. You see, Watchtower does not do that. They do not give an empowering, a real education. All they do is their doctrine, their theological stuff. That's how they educate. That's what theirs is all about. But other churches, they're helping educate people just in standard education. In fact, the Catholic Church all over the world is big. They have an education program up here in Canada. There is a Catholic school. You can go to and it's grade school, it's high school, it's pretty well the same curriculum. And by option, you can attend a church class if you want. It's not pushed on you. Now, churches help in Africa to feed the poor. Now, this isn't relief work, folks. This is ongoing support, helping to feed the poor. There's a real problem all over Africa, all over the world. But Africa has been in the eyes of the world for a long time, and churches have been down there for decades and decades and decades helping the poor. Watchtower does not have a program, and never did have a program to help the poor. So when we start comparing Watchtower to other organizations, we're going to find that Watchtower is doing very little. 21 million is really a drop in the bucket. It's not much, but it might sound like a lot, and they're bragging about it like they want more contributions, more donations. Look at us. We're sinking 21 million into some audio visual. They're not helping the poor. They're not feeding a person with that. But what they are doing is they build these big screen AV setups. They pour millions into projectors, speakers, generators, not to educate, but to control the narrative and to make the organization look slick. Why? Because in Africa, where internet is limited and fact-checking is hard, fancy visuals can sell a lie. So let's also, we looked at the Reddit clip. The governing body is looking to spend money where there's growth. That's a business decision. That's not a spiritual decision. They even admit it. So no growth in the US, Canada, Europe. Why? Because people have access to information. But in places like Africa, where resources are scarce, Watchtower is investing heavily to appear like they have the truth. So if we look at the last part of Miss Usato's article, that'll be a good takeaway. The millions spent on AV technology is not about helping people. It's about creating an illusion, a shiny, convincing brand for an organization losing relevance in the digital world. So that's Miss Usato's take on this. So we'd like to thank Miss Usato for putting that article together on Avoid JW. We'll put a link in the descriptions of the video. So here's the bottom line. Watchtower isn't a faith organization. It's a business and is playing a global game. They'll chase growth wherever they can sell the illusion, and they'll spend millions to do it. And that's why we need more apostates in Africa. People who've been on the inside and who know how to get out and who know the system and can warn others before Watchtower locks down their influence. This is Vern, and as always, keep living your life with love. We'll see you on the next video.